Hello, good morning. It is good afternoon. It's June 22nd. On June 22nd, Sunday, it's day 11, I think, and I'm back home. It's been a ride. Lots has happened over the last while, and I'm just taking a moment today to reflect not just on working on this project, Haizhen, but also just the last 18 months. It's been quite a journey with all the school programming and reading and cases and all of that. And at the end of the class, there was a session talking about kind of like transitioning out of the program and all of this, because it's pretty intense. Like, you're working 18 months of just like working, living your life, and then doing school, doing all these cases, assignments, exams, school. It's a lot. So like transitioning out of that is probably going to be an adjustment. And it's kind of like all of the time that was spent on school before, team meetings, social events, and just even being in class for 4 days a month. It's going to be quite a change. It's going to be like, oh, so much time. What am I going to do with it? And I guess it's just thinking. It's like, am I transitioning? Did I start transitioning out of this program as I started building Haizhen? And I think I did, because I don't know. I just like, as I've said before, this has been brewing for a long time, and it was time to work on it, and I think it's going to give me a good transition point to move from having no time to all this time and finding some balance in between. I think some things that I'm also really looking forward to is just spending time with family, just hanging out with my wife, kids, catching up with friends, some people I haven't seen in a while. I think it'll be good, even in this process as I'm working through. One of the interesting things is, as I do more of these, even though like at this point it's day 11, I haven't shared anything out onto YouTube yet. And I feel like I'm already better able to speak about it with other people. And there was always that kind of like concern of, what are people going to think about this? And I think sometimes I have a poor perception of how I'm received, which is fine. And it's something that I can't know unless I put things in front of people. And one piece of it is just being comfortable sharing it out like I am now. And even putting things out there like this is helpful to just kind of organize the thoughts, or just get used to talking about it in one way, shape, or form. So I was going to say I'm excited, and I am, but presently I don't exactly know how I feel. It's a little bit like a release. It's like, I know that there's space now. Or I understand that there's space, and at the same time, I'm not in it and not able to conceptualize and feel it. And that's absolutely okay. That's, I think, one of the challenges of doing a lot of any of this kind of self-development work, because it's so easy to consume knowledge or to have access to knowledge, especially these days. Like, if I think of like when I was a child, growing up in an environment with no internet, no computers, no cell phones. It's a really interesting perspective, because like thinking about even generations like 10 years later or 20 years later that were born into a world where the internet exists and information is accessible in all the like at your fingertips. And especially now, people are going to be born into a world where AI exists, and the information is even more readily available. And maybe it's going to become more important to have that critical thinking or to understand what's right for you rather than what's right because you're told. And I think that's a big difference. I can see where the concern with like the use of AI is. It's not a replacement, I think. It's not a replacement of people. It's like all of these things that are being developed are tools. How you use the tool becomes important as the differentiating factor, I guess. But growing up being born into a world where none of this stuff exists and then just watching it come out, I can understand how people might be fearful or afraid of new developments as it happens because, again, it's an unknown. You don't know what's happening. And you could have two reactions to it, either to be fearful of it and move away from it, or to embrace it and begin to embody it. And I think that holds true for a lot of different things, a lot of different work, especially this work that Haizhen is addressing, this deep transformation. It's meant to be something to embody and feel and embrace. And I think that's the missing piece of moving from a place of like having an intellectual understanding of things to a place of knowing what that feels like for you in your body. So like now I understand that the school is over and that I'm going to have all this time back. And at the same time, I guess it's like a little bit of detachment from that of like, I'm not really into that yet because I guess if I were to think about it, it just feels like there's so many things to catch up on. So it's like that time is almost already spoken for or you allocated, although it's really not because it's not here yet. So I guess I'm taking the space now to reflect on that and just kind of live in this limbo or this liminal space, which is a space that I enjoy. That's kind of where all the magic happens. That's where all the magic happens. Because we often, I think conventional wisdom or like the common sense says that we need to be logical and rational and come up with an understanding, and then everything else is just gravy. It's just kind of an offshoot of all of that. But as I mentioned in an earlier video, the feeling, meaning, action cascade is really more how it works, where things actually start from what you feel that result in an action, and oftentimes that space in the middle where the meaning is formed is almost an afterthought. It's assigned after the action happens. If you think about the feelings coming first, everything starts inside you as a feeling, as some kind of sensation that kind of moves you one way or another. And that space in the middle between feeling and action where meaning can be formed is where all the play happens. It's where hypnosis comes in. It's where, you unlock the dream gate to get into there and change the meanings, change the story, change your narrative, right? Take control of authorship. And that's another piece of the Haizhen puzzle, which is to understand, first of all, the clarity of who you are meant to be in this world, in your experience. And then once you have that, to understand how you can rewrite your own story, to not even just your, I'm going to say physical story for now, your kind of day-to-day existence, the narrative that you're talking about, but even thinking about your energetic authorship of like, where are you utilizing and where are you flowing your energy? And I can see from both sides of how like energy can be used as this kind of like nebulous concept of like, it's kind of like a woo, spiritual, like energetic healing and things like that. And then at the same time, we talk about energy every single day. It's like, I have a lot of energy right now, I have low energy, I'm depleted, I'm drained, and all of these things. From a like scientific standpoint, we talk about like energy in the cells, right? Like mitochondria creating the energy that powers our cells. We have energy from the food that we eat and all of these things. So while we've put kind of like, we've attached this idea of energy to like a physical structure, it's still, at the end of the day, a useful metaphor to think about like energy in a kind of broader sense, almost in that like energetic woo, kind of like energy is flowing and all around us kind of sense. Because no matter what we do and how we talk about things and explain things, we'll see that rather than getting to a specific truth, the more that we look at things and dissect them and investigate and study them, it becomes more clear through an increasing resolution, like depth, rather than like standard definition. We're going to high definition. You have more pixels, you have 4K, and it's just more information that you can use to kind of understand your experience and your knowledge. So getting into all of that, I'm really like in this in-between space now. I'm like kind of have all these thoughts going on in my head of kind of where to take things next. So it's gonna be a good ride. Finishing this program, trying to reflect on what it means, and it's so much, because it's not just the learning, it's not just the materials, it's really the people, the relationships, and then thinking about the impact that all the things that I've learned there that I can utilize to expand my reach and expand my impact on people like you, on people that are looking for an answer, that need help in some sort of way and are lost and don't know where to go. And that's what I'd love to do with you. And I think that I found a pretty good way to do it. It's pretty good. And the great thing is you can test this out for yourself, like almost immediately. That it's that thing of moving from an intellectual understanding to an embodied knowing. And that's part of the work that makes this program really special to me, is being able to take some really simple steps to start to fit it into your life, and knowing almost immediately, like having that immediate feedback of how these things are working for you, and you can move around and play with it and test it out. Because like we don't always have the answers, and like nobody teaches this kind of stuff. So I'm excited to continue working. I'm excited to keep on making these. This has been such a really nice way for me to spend some time myself just reflecting and being able to put things just out into space. It makes me think of so many things right now. I could go all over, but I think I'm going to wrap this up. It's just a lot. There's been a lot that's happened in the last 18 months, and I can't even recall them. I think probably what would be really helpful is to sit down and just write these things down so that I can reflect on them, journal and things like that. One person on the alumni panel was talking about how they journaled their whole way through the program, and just seeing like the progression through, and it must be really nice to look back on. And it made me think like that as that kind of was being shared, I'm thinking of these, and like eventually one day when I look back at them, you know, in 5 years, 10 years, who knows, like what kind of place or space I'll be in at that time. But knowing that this is kind of here now is, I don't even know what to think about it. So lots of good things coming. Lots of good things coming. And I'd love for you to experience this with me. So as I'm preparing for this, probably by the time this is coming out, I will have more information about how you can learn and get deeper into the work that I'm doing with the Haizhen transformation. But right now, no matter where you are, you can go to check the link in the description. I'll include it there where you can get your own chart. And on my webpage there, you can get your chart and just start reading about some of the things that the chart says, these big features, and just start to reflect on it. Feel free to reach out to me, comment, get in touch with me somehow. Like I'm on Instagram, you can direct message me, or comment on this video, or anything. Like, I don't think I'm difficult to get a hold of. And totally open to receiving your invitation to have a chat. So that's my energy, as you will learn if you choose to. So yeah. So yeah, it's going to be good times. Let the good times roll.